How did the community take it after it was aired? Were they happy? Were they sad? Did they look at you in any way?
Well, yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I think they took it in because a lot of people, like you said, they could see themselves in that position. And some people even worse, even though, some people think their burden is the heaviest, but when you take out stock, the next man have a bigger problem than you. So I think a lot of people and a lot of recognition for that documentary because as a sound system operator, a man who played the sound, everyone's looking for a sound, looking for music. But when they saw this, it was like a different thing. People were someone was shocked.
I think that's one of the things for me, even watching it now. When I met Blacker, it was like mid-90s. I think I met you when I first come to your record shop on Cold Harbour Lane, Blacker Dread Music Store. And I'm going in there as a young kid selling records to Blacker Dread. This character that I've heard for so many years playing a sound system by the name of Coxon. And it was a notorious sound system as well. It was a well-feared sound system as well. I'm sure that you guys would agree with me.
Yeah, I mean.
So to be able to walk into a place like that and meet Blacker Dread and this notorious sound system operator, but then to be able to watch this program and to see the person, Blacker Dread, you know what I'm saying? Not the sound system operator, the producer, or this notorious figure that is known out in the streets. Like, how was it for you for people to see you in that manner, Blacker?
Scary. Because it's a truth, isn't it? So I have to say thank you to Molly anyway, because how we did it, there was no script. Molly just kept filming, and the more she filmed, it's like, me get more warmer to her. So it just happened. And everything organic, nothing made up. There's no double takes. If Molly said to me, say, oh, I like what you just said, let me say it again. Me say, no, Molly, anything will pass. Simple. If it pass, it pass.
Molly, how was it for you making this film? Because when I watch this, I see a certain level of respect, a certain level of trust as well, because you're hearing stories that many of us would never have ever heard these stories too.
No, it's true, and because I'd met Blacker and Neptali all those years ago, but that film was purely about sound system, what I realised is how ignorant I was all those years back about people's lives. So that was the great privilege, and I think it's really brave and really generous, especially when people are going through a rough time, to let somebody in. Because the first film was a celebration of something. That was hard enough to get in. But this one, I think that you were just incredibly... I don't know why you did it. I still don't quite know.
What was the relationship between you and Blacker for that amount of time that you had filmed like the first documentary, the sound system business?
We didn't really see each other, did we? I came to the shop once with my children, back again in 2012, and then when I heard your mum had died, that's when we decided to film the funeral.
Yeah, I actually rang Molly up and said to her, Miss Molly, could you come and film Mum's funeral for me? Because, you're the best person I know.
Is that when you realised that there was a deeper character behind Blacker? The reason why I say that is because when my mother passed, somebody that used to work with, somebody that worked with me at One Extra, they came to my mum's setup and to the 9-night, and when they left, they walked away and pulled me, and they goes, now I know who Shawnee B is. Because there was 200 people out on the block. We was eating fish, hard-boiled bread, celebrating life. It's not normal. Is that where you discovered?
It was a really big thing because to film a funeral when you're wanted there is a very different thing from when you're making a documentary. And that was a very brilliant start for me because, it was an enormous event, but people wanted it filming. There was no question about what's she doing here. And then thanks to Naphtali, whose car I got in, then it began to sort of unfold. Because I never used to deal with him back in Coxon days. I was far too scared.
I think Naphtali was one of the stars of this program. Can we agree?
Yeah. Thank you.
His well-spoken manner and how Naphtali, from being a bank robber, being this character out of the streets in the 70s and 80s, how do you sound like that? Like honestly.
You said it was people.
As I've explained, it's just being around people and the life that I lived from earlier on in life that caused me to have this kind of, way of speaking. I read a lot of books, and listened to a lot of news and documentaries and stuff, and I just picked up the lingo and decided, well, it suits me to speak where I speak amongst people who speak like that, and when I'm amongst my own, I can change back into speaking that way.
Is it a form of code switching?
What switch?
Code switching.
Code switching?
Yeah, switching. Because as black people in this country, we have to do a lot of switching. When we're amongst our own, we relax into the way that we talk, and we don't need no subtitle.
Yeah, that's part of it. That is part of it. That is part of it. But, it helps and it works. It works if you're with, European people, European people speak a certain way, and they, I think, accept you more if you speak like them, and they can understand more what you're saying or how.
Who is the real Naphtali then?
Any one of them.
Listen, Shawnee, let me tell you something, right? I'm going to tell you like this, right? When I joined Cox and Sound in the 70s, yeah? This guy here, yeah? I thought he was a big man. I swear, Shawnee. I thought this brother, I didn't know we were born the same year, because he was like the paymaster. He used to collect the money, yeah? And then he would decide in his own infinite wisdom who was going to get paid. So if he didn't like you, didn't get paid. This guy was scary.
I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what to say about it.
I want to move on to the sound system documentary stuff, because I think that's the catalyst for everything where we are right now.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask, Blacker, what did you want people to take away from this documentary?
The reality of life, I want people to take that it ain't all a bed of roses, and if you believe the hype in the media, then you think that it's an easy road. Mm-hmm. But it's not an easy road. It is a rough road to wherever you reach, you know what I mean? Some people don't reach nowhere, but you still have to go on that journey. And it's not easy. It's not easy, Shani. It's rough. Because, even when I was going to school back in the day, if it wasn't for my teacher, Mr. Jenkins, rest in peace, yeah, that man took me up in his wings and he said to me, Martin, don't be scared. Don't worry about them. Just learn. So I have a lot to thank that brother for.
Naphtali,
Yes.
yourself?
Oh, the sound system thing?
No. What would you want people to take away from this documentary after, especially for yourself? Because you were so honest, like super duper honest, showing your war scars and all the rest of it. Like,
yeah, life can throw up a lot of things for you as you go along the road, and sometimes you go down a wrong road, but you can recover from that. You can recover. Have belief in yourself and have good people around you. If you have good people around you who are willing to tell you the truth, no matter what it is,
Thank you.
Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth and what is right and what is wrong, yeah? And that helps you, especially later on in life when, not everybody can do the same thing from the beginning of life to the ending of life. So there comes a time in life when you decide, you can't fucking do this anymore. Excuse bad French. You can't do this no more. Yeah? So you have to just be sensible, listen to good advice, and just do the right thing.
and have you been able to maintain that
Yes.
new path that you're on?
Yes.
Working at everything, you're good, you're nice?
Life has got better.
Good.
Life has got better, and I'm still here,
Largely because of.
Well, you give thanks to my lady Jackie B over there. She's got me on the
We
straight
have to
path.
big up the
She's got me on.
and that is a beautiful seg, because I did want to ask about your sister, because your sister seemed to have taken that matriarch role within the family and definitely looked after you. I hope you look after her, the black.
Yeah, man, she's my
How is-
big
how is-
sister.
How is big sister doing?
Yeah,
She
man,
good?
she's a
Everything
big
blessed?
sister, I have two big sisters. Jean is here. June couldn't come because she's going to see her daughter in Hastings. But yeah, my sisters, they keep me on the straight and narrow. and I respect them to the max. I listen to them when it's necessary. But she can still conk me, and I have to accept it.
And your son, is it Jamal? Yeah.
Jamal, yeah,
How's he
he's
doing?
doing excellent. He's 19 last week, Sunday, and he's doing excellent. He passed all his exams. Wow. He was in the class of 2015.
Big up that.
Yeah.
Is he still in Jamaica as well? Yeah.
He didn't want to come. I tried to bring him up to come here.
He wants to stay in
and he
Jamaica.
said, "Dad, what am I going to do in England? Come on, Dad, I don't even have a coat. I haven't worn a coat since I was 7 years old. Where am I going to get a coat from?"
And again, like black parents, like this may sound strange to some of you guys, but my son, and I'm sure other children, have gone through the same madness at school simply for the sake of understanding. And I've had to go into my son's school many times and they'd be like, oh, the manner that he talks. Yeah, but the manner that we talk at home, this is the way that we talk at home. So he's coming into a school with his culture. How about you adapting and learning? How about you putting yourself into an uncomfortable position? And the responses that I received was, but this is not the society that they're going out to. I work on a radio station where there was a white guy that was talking more black than me and was more successful.
Yeah.
And when I said that to them, they had to kind of check themselves really, really fast. So there's a lot of stories in this documentary right here that I don't want people to kind of look at on a very surface level. Like, you really have to kind of dig deep into. And I want to dig deep into, you still iron your socks?
Yeah.
Why would you want to dig into that one?
I just found it. You still iron your socks?
Yeah, still iron.
Yes, everything.
Yeah, man, everything iron, man. I just like to see them iron. I just like to see.
My brethren, please.
Is that a discipline that your mum kind of set into you?
Yeah,
Because
listen.
even as young black men, again, our mothers taught us so much. So
Yeah,
wash, cook, clean, and look.
Mom used to do all my washing for me, every single thing. And when I got my socks, they were crisp and they looked so neat and tidy. So I'm saying, Mom, yeah, she said, your socks must iron because them feel more comfortable.
Now, one of the things that was mentioned in the intro about this week of celebrating reggae and the culture of the music is that we're going to do it this week. But no, it's also because it's the 60th year of Jamaica independence.
Yeah.
And your mum come to England in 1962. Did it say the year of the year of independence? That's just crazy. And then to know your musical journey. When did your musical journey start? Actually, before we go there, by a show of hands, how many people understand the concept of what a sound system is? Right, so that's kind of less than half of the room in here. Could we show a clip of what sound system is? Or do you want to explain what a sound system is?
Before you say that, excuse me, Sean, I have to acknowledge my brethren, who is one of the godfathers of us all here. Yeah? The father.
Festus. Who's going to bring Festus into the conversation?
But you're going into the music.
We're going into the music.
So we have to acknowledge Father Festus.
All right. Festus and Blacker, I'm just a young student of this sound system thing. You can explain what a sound system is, and then we can go into clip number 5.
Yeah, well, a sound system is basically English people then would call it a disco. So you can imagine a disco like 50 times bigger than a normal disco, yeah, with bass amplifiers that if you don't know what you're doing, it'll blow you out of the room. So that's what we grew up to. And I always remember my dad going to Jamaica 1970 and coming back with my boy, the Eric Donaldson, Cherry O Baby. And I think he bought 4 copies of it. And I still got one of the copies now. And then my uncle upstairs took one. I don't know what happened to the other 2. But that song, I just kept on playing and I couldn't stop. And then Keith upstairs had a sound. So sometimes on a Sunday, when they were playing dominoes and drinking their long life beer, and he got drunk, he would say, "Come here, boy, come put on 2 records for me." So he used to put the records on the side and say, put them on the turntable. And like, oh my gosh, my fingers are like, what you doing, boy? Put them on good. All right, boss. So that's my teaching. So when I got the opportunity as a 15-year-old, Coxon was playing in Brixton at a place called Con, and I got my opportunity to like start to go around Coxon, it was like a different world. It was a massive. It was just so wicked. So many things was happening. You'd have to live it to actually believe. It's almost impossible to try and explain it, Shawnee, because there was people all over the place, people, hundreds, thousands of people. We went to dances where there was like 10,000 people. We even played on Clapham Common with 300,000 people. So we're talking about major entertainment, and there was nothing for black people, hardly any clubs, anything. So we had to make our own entertainment. You know, heard of partners. People used to throw partners together, although it's illegal in England. And everybody just make sure, say, people just join in.
We all understand what a partner is? Can you explain what a partner is?
A partner is a thing that, okay, say everyone in this room throws £5. So you have a banker, and that banker collects £5
every week.
So say this week is yours, so you get everyone's £5, and you can go and do something with it. You do it the next week, and everybody gets. So it goes right round.
Like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. So everybody gets a share. So although you might not have that £600 one time, when you get your partner draw, the amount of things that you can do with that £600 is amazing. So that was the structure that we grew up and trying to help one another. It was a magnificent thing.
Again, it's part of our community. I'm sure every black person here would put up their hand and say, if they wasn't part of a partner, their mother or somebody was part of a partner. Yeah. Can we play clip number 5 from the clips, please, for the sound system?
17 January 1981. Young Lion are now leaving for the National Sounds Arena, Brixton Town Hall, where Sir Coxon are even now arriving.
Keith, you know, see, like a new chance, sister. Hey, young lion. 800 this blood clot, you know, boss. Eat that blood clot. I eat that. That's what you feel. What you say, Mr.
There's no prize or cup for this dance. It is just the crowd who will judge. The mighty Jashaka, spiritual dub warrior from the southeast London. London's A1 sound, Sir Coxon, the strong tower, and also in the hall with these 2 high-ranking dub machines from the south, sound called Stereograph, and the younger one of today, Young Lion.
1 1 testing mic check, you know. 1 2 testing. Mic check testing 1, you know. Like international, you know. Mic check 1, like international. 1 1 testing 1.
Now, why I thought it was important to show that clip is because if we join the dots of where music is, especially black music is right now in the UK, a lot of people will say that that was the source of where it came from. When you see the likes of, and I've spoke about it in the documentary, the likes of Stormzy or Fredo or any of these new kids that are out doing like rap music or grime music or drill music, this is where it came from. The originally black British young guys making music for themselves. It was for your own entertainment. You tell me about that time, Blacker.
Yeah, well, we used to like, all right. I started producing in 1983 actually because the great Sugar Minott, rest in peace, he looked at me one day and said, Blacker, you know, you've got good timing. You've got a lot of things going for you. He said producing is about knowing the tempo, knowing what people like and stuff like that. So we just tried to recreate what we saw in the dances. So when people dance, you look at all them dance and say, oh, okay, I'm going to make a beat that they can dance like this. So we had all different gully banking, skanking, you have walk and skank, you have all kind of different dance, rubber dub, you have all roots dub, everything. So we made the music to accommodate the people and the pressure and the sufferation that they were going through. Also, we made music for the love that they were going through. And, you know, made music for girls, because if you have music for women, you know that man comes.
Must come.
Yeah. So, ABC.
How do you feel knowing where sound system culture is now in 2022? If you look at festivals, sound system has to be a massive part of that. Even on Radio 1, there's a show called the Sound System Show. Do you think that these people understand the true essence of what sound system is and what it brought to British culture, music culture?
I think they have to get it from the grassroots. So a documentary like Sound Business is like a way in, because even when Molly was doing it back then, Molly, she was under a lot of pressure. This little white girl in a dance with pure black people, and she's got her lights on. People used to stop her from filming all the time. So it was hard for her to do it. And it's only now, like 40 years later, I always say to myself, I wish we had taken Molly in and just let her do what I let her do back then.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing like that out there for anyone to see where it actually came from.
It's a funny film, actually, because at the time this film came out, it was the Brixton riots, and I was literally obsessively filming Festus cutting dubs, Young Lion building a bass speaker. It was a very, very technical film. I think the focus, but maybe that's its strength now, that it literally is about the business of running a sound system.
What made you want to do it, Molly? Because nowadays, I can understand if a corporate wanted to come in or somebody from outside the culture wanted to come in, because you can see so much influence within the music that somebody would want to dig deeper. But in 1980,
Actually, it was 79, and Julian and Louisa, who I made it with, we were at the London College of Printing. Do you remember why we made it? I was just obsessed by it. What? We had to do a project.
That's it.
But I think it's also, I'd really love to, if those first couple of clips, because we have Festus here, who was the original big selector of Coxsone Sound. I think
Wow,
he's
stand up,
sitting
Festus,
there.
make the people them see, you know, man.
Everybody look here.
Yeah. Boss.
I'd like us to play a clip that shows the magic of what Festus does. And I just want to kind of explain what this clip is about, first of all. If you listen to EDM music or drum and bass or anything that has like a big atmospheric ramp up to it, and then the bass line drops and it hits and you see the crowd go like ridiculously crazy, what you have to understand that what you are watching stems from this right here. It stems from the studios in Jamaica. It stems from producers and engineers experimenting with electrics to work out how to filter stuff and to but the clip itself, you will be able to see where Festus is manipulating the sound, changing the sound. And what used to happen in a lot of these dances, Blacker, you could tell me if I'm right or wrong, that the crowd would be in an event and there would be no bass line that is playing. But the minute that the operator chips in the bass line and then the room starts to shake, you see the response. And I've been one of those patrons in a dance that when you feel that bass line hits you, and I think that has been taken from this music and being put into modern day music. But we'll be able to see it from this clip.
To be the A1 sound depends not only on the exclusive music featured, but also on how the sound is played.
It's only up when it's cut down. Can you see when it's cut down, so that's the Festa. I put all my money, I take off my trousers and bet on Festa when it comes cut down.
It's just the way he plays, you know, it just makes you stand up and watch him, right? First, because I was just looking and saying, oh, the great Festus, you know, the great Festus from Coxsone Sound, you know.
The sound system operator makes every record played a live performance, so that each time a record is
While
played,
doing that,
it
no,
is
just
different.
nice not even the music more still than just playing it straight and normal to the people. Just
The operator knows his music to the extent he can use his split, treble and bass amplifiers to conduct instruments in and out of the music as he feels.
that was the piano just. When I went like that was the piano I just brought up then. I knew it was coming.
Oh, he comes and play a different style, chapter 3. The man can't face the crucial up and wait and way down the studio one style. Now comes a musical chapter. The music man called Festus lives up the adapter. Man called Festus really makes no fuss. And all you gotta do is stick with us and eat the crust and don't get crushed. A big yeah. Yeah, you know?
It's the art of doing it. If you're gonna say something, if I was gonna say music, if I was gonna introduce a record, I wouldn't say Gregory Isaac selection combination one. I would say now here comes man called Gregory Isaac combination when I do play the Iowa Milico Shack Attack, I play the track to make your nerves crack. You know? You probably wouldn't understand, but the main people in the dance, they would know what I'm talking about. It's very fast, but it's sensible what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Gregory Isaac selection, part 1, musical shack attack. Musical shack attack means it's a hit, you know? It's a hit shot. Instead of saying hit shot, you say shack attack. And I say I play it on the track. On the track means the track, you know, on the turntable. You know, to make your nerves crack. That means to make you feel good. It's just the lyrics, you know?
So, to those who don't know, the reason why they put a match and lit the match there, if the match doesn't go out, the bass ain't working. So,
if you've ever been next door to a rumbling party next door, that was probably what was going on. Festus, can we get a mic to Festus?
Does Festus want to come and sit here?
Festus. I think what's important to know is that people like these guys and others in the industry from the 70s, 60s, 70s and coming right up, they were inventors, geniuses, like brilliant people. Because in 2022, companies like Pioneer, Serato, Techniques, you name it, they all implement this kind of technology into their equipment today. Like one of the leading mixers out right now is like a Pioneer mixer, and they have something on it called a kill switch where you can filter out the bass line or cut out the bass line. These are all things that these guys were pioneering in the 70s and the 80s, having sound effects, like even on one of the clips that, is it Mr. Eddie?
I invented sound effects.
Speak to me.
For the world.
Speak to me. So if you ever heard a mix and you heard horns and sound effects going off, you can blame him.
And I'm going to tell you something that Blacker never tell you no. You say Blacker, Levi Rhodes didn't come to me and said, Festus, I want to come from Coxon Sound. God make it happen. I was loading my van to go to country. Here comes Blacker Dread and Levi Roots walking by. And I said, come here. Help me lift up this box.
So you was playing a sound system already prior to Coxon?
I used to play Matador sound before that, but this time I meet Blacker for the first time in my life. His mother sent him to shop to buy goods, and I take him off I'm route to help me lift box. That's how I met Blacker and Levi Roots.
When you look at everything that's going on in music circles, as in sound system, and seeing the technology and how it's moving, how do you feel about this festival?
Well, I'm glad I take part in it because when I came into this sound system business, we were all playing ceramic in the music bit that was mono.
Yeah.
So you couldn't actually turn off the bass independently, nor the treble independently until 1975. King Tubby's Osborne Ruddock of Jamaica, bring back that old concept that was in already, but they threw it out. Said it was no good. The bass cut off. That was the first thing they bring in. But they threw it out and bring in, like you buy a stereo in the shop, you can't turn off the bass, everything. There. Until Cox in the UK also changed the concept. Tubby changed in Jamaica, Cox changed back in the UK. Because it was a thing of the past which they threw out, say it was no good.
All right,
Tubbies and I realized that
Works.
we needed something.
Yeah, so what?
This is how the barn, this is how bass and treble born. And it's still here now.
So what Festus is really saying, all right, so sound systems didn't have EQs back then. Those things weren't invented. They might have been invented, but not for the sound system. So actually what they were playing, when he said ceramic, it's like if you're playing just, you got a stereo and you're just playing, everything's playing through one speaker and there's nothing playing on that side. So back then, that's how it used to play. But then they brought it forward now. So you had the left and you had the right. And what they did, instead of splitting it left and right, they split it from the top to the middle to the bottom. So that's how we were able to do that. So Festus was like the pioneer. He went to our builder and asked him, could you make this? So Mr. Errol Pettigrew, the man, I mean, he's in the sound system documentary. He made it possible for us to be able to take out the bass, take out the mid-range, and take out the tops, whichever part you want. Even big companies that make EQs, they used to come to us and say, well, what is it that you want? What is it that you do? And when we showed them, they were amazed. They said, but it's not made to do that. I said, that's why we use it, because it's not made to do that. That's why we use it to do that.
Do you think this music, do you think people like yourself, Naphtali, Festus, get the just deserved respect for the kind of things that you have brought to the industry?
No, respect. I think in the community, a lot of people in the community do respect us. Some sound systems won't, because the beating where them get. Because in a sound system, it's like a football match, yeah? So you got your crowd and they vote for you. So Coxon was so popular, we had most of the crowd all the time. So when we played out, it was like, if you say a show of hands, then to say who is the best sound, it was about shouting. So people would shout and say, yeah, you play the record. They would shout and say, this sound is the baddest sound. So, but I wanted to talk about how Festus, he used to EQ the sound. Well, it was amazing. I was perplexed by it. He used to make the sound, make the record. So when you went back home and you played that same record, you'd saying, but how comes my record ain't playing like that? I want my record to sound like how Festus is playing it. It just wouldn't happen.
How did you learn all this stuff, Festus? Or is it just listening to the music?
Yeah, my born and grew up Jamaica, and my brother, I was 8 years old. My brother had a son, he was 17 years old. So the love for, we made it a feat, you know. See the dance hall lesson, and I have some live. So you know, I say Count Nick, Prince Buster, the first voice of the people, Studio One, every sound come there, so. So me and my bed asleep as a little boy, 8-year-old sound and lick me in the head.
Hear it.
Straight. Every night, every weekend. You understand? I get beaten for God Prince Buster, you know, just before me left Jamaica 1964, you know. Buster playing on my ear, and I say, boy, I forgot that dance, you know, I can't miss me. I'm going to get beaten when I come back, but I'm glad I go. You understand?
I want you guys to line up any questions that you may have. I just want to ask each of you, without music, without sound system, let's be fair, I think we're sitting here today because of the success of Coxon and the success of your production, Blacker. Where do you think that you would be without the music today?
Dead or prison.
We're gonna get honesty. I think we know that already.
Simple. Dead or prison, Shani. There was nothing else. I didn't leave school with any academic stuff. I didn't want to work. I actually did. No, let me tell the truth. I worked at Sunlight Laundry. I went to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got the sack by 11. Yeah. I worked in Kentucky, in Brixton, and I was there for half a day because the guy wanted me to take chips that had fallen on the floor to put in the fryer. I said, I'm not selling no black people this. Are you crazy? You think I could sell this to people? So I threw everything away. I just threw it all in the dustbin and walked out. So I worked twice and I never even got paid. So why am I not gonna work again?
I came here to be a doctor.
You came to be a doctor?
Yes. And sound system pulled me away.
Oh my! A doctor for real?
Yes.
Wow. Yourself, that time.
Two sisters a nurse. I was supposed to be the doctor. But the sound system grabbed me up from early at 14, going to school and playing sound system at the same time. At 14, I was the biggest selector in England. And going to school.
Age when you was playing the sound?
Yes.
And still going to school.
Still going to school.
Amazing.
Bob Marley danced to me. I played at 7, 8, 9 Bob Marley shows.
Could you not notice I'm just quiet when Festus is talking now?
Yeah,
I've heard about Festus for so many years, but
Shawnee,
never heard these stories like
I met Bob Marley, yeah? When I met Bob, it was at a Coxsone dance. Bob used to, and this is the real honest truth. Used to go to Coxsone, there was a little short man standing in the corner, and he'd bring a pre-cut disc, what we call a dub plate now, but it was a pre-release, something that you could listen, just to listen, and he would bring it to the dance, and he would give it to like Festus, and say, play this for me, let me hear. So Festus would play it, and he would say, yeah, I like this one, and he would go and finish the song, but he would give it to him. So we was a sound that was playing even because Bob Marley got massive when he went away, when he passed on, innit? But he was like how we were. We were just brethren,
Kinky reggae.
friends.
Kinky reggae was right around us.
Yeah.
Kinky reggae.
England.
Aim to me, listen me, leave, go home and write that song. Kinky reggae.
On in 20s.
Yeah, because we was playing in Carnaby Street in the West End then.
so much history. Naphtali.
Yeah. The sound, I grew up listening to Juke Reed sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Juke Reed decided, say, well, he want to go home. That they was playing down in the Swan at the time. And that's where it started from before them, but when my adult, you could have said, start from this one, then Juke go home. And there was no other choice for me but to come to Coxsone Sound. Them time the sound I play at 20s and these places.
Where's 20s?
Carnaby Street.
Playing at the Roaring 20s, you know. I'll cut you. 7 years, I played at the Roaring 20s. 7 years straight. 7 nights a week. 365 days a year.
A year, sorry, yeah.
365 days make 1 year, you know. 7 times 365 is how much?
That's
a whole. I'm good at maths, but you just fuck it on me.
That's how much days I played non-stop.
That's where I stayed.
Every Friday night for that 7 years, every Friday night is brand new music. Every Friday.
Well, that's one thing I know that. I know that for
I can make testament to that because that's where I was as a little young youth.
So none of these selectors can tap my thing, man. My thing tap a tap.
Wasn't able to get in some of the time.
What you'll see right now is a lot of sound system bravado.
Yeah.
That's what happens with DJs. Before we leave, I just want to say that I think what is on display here is a different side of the black community. What you have witnessed on the screen as well is a different side of the black community. I think what we see in the mainstream right now is of young black Britain, and that could be slightly worrying a lot of the times. when there's so much culture, so much tradition, so much community, so much family, so much love that is on show, that even if some of these younger kids will be able to see this a lot more, they'll understand where they're coming from and know how to act out into the community differently as well. So I just want to say thank you to Blacker, Naphtali, and to Festus and Molly.